In this lesson, we're going to work with a surface view. Now we've seen a surface view in action before, but now we'll take a deeper look as to why we're using it. We're going to use the pie chart that we created in a previous lesson. One of the things that the pie chart used was a shapes view which descended from view. The one problem with that approach is that that is drawn on the primary UI thread. So if we're drawing a pie chart that had a lot of slices and had a lot of labels and was drawing a lot of text and in general took a while to draw, it would block the UI thread while it was drawing. Likewise, if we were drawing some sort of graph that was graphing data in real time, so it was constantly updating, it would block the UI thread. So anytime you're doing any kind of drawing that may be lengthy, you want to not use a view, you want to use a surface view. A surface view can be drawn completely asynchronously, and its performance is actually better. So let's take a look at that and discuss why that is. We've changed our shapes view to inherit from surface view and implement iSurfaceHolder callback. And in our constructor, we get the surface holder that's passed into us as a surface view, and to that holder we add a callback reference to ourselves, so that essentially what happens is anything there is an event for the surface, it will call our code here. First thing we do is we take a look at the onLayout method. And the onLayout method passes us essentially dimensions and coordinates. And what we want to do is we want to create a bitmap that's the appropriate height and width. And we're going to actually draw to this bitmap initially in memory rather than drawing directly to the screen, which is the way a view does it. In a view, the canvas object is essentially hooked directly to the screen. So that's why the UI thread gets blocked, and that's why the performance is not as good as it could be. In this case, we're going to draw to a memory bitmap initially, and then shoot the memory bitmap out to the screen all at once. So we also have a canvas member, and we're just going to set the canvas's bitmap to our memory bitmap. And then we're going to call our draw method, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. One of the iSurfaceHolder methods that we have to implement is the surfaceCreated method. So we're going to have a flag that tells us when the surface is destroyed, and we'll draw when the surface is created. And now we get to our draw method. The draw method is going to check two things, because now this can come in on multiple threads and can respond to multiple user inputs. So we've got a flag for is it already drawing, and if the surface is not destroyed, because we certainly don't want to bother drawing if the surface has gone away. We set our drawing flag to true, and then we call onDraw. The good news about all of this is that onDraw is unchanged from the onDraw method that we used previously. So once we've drawn to this canvas, and remember this canvas is drawing to a memory bitmap as opposed to on screen. So now that we've got that drawn, we ask the surface holder to lock the screen canvas, and then we draw our bitmap to that screen canvas. And finally, we unlock that canvas and post it to the screen. And we're no longer drawing. When the surface is destroyed, we just set our surface is destroyed flag. And the other method we have to implement is surface changed, and we really don't have anything to do in this case. The onDraw code is exactly as it was in the previous lesson. Nothing has changed there. So really this is just an implementation to draw to a background bitmap instead of drawing directly to the screen and doing it in a multi-threaded fashion. So let's make sure it still works the same way. So there it is. And if I click on a slice, I still get my toast message. The titles are there, the pie chart is there. Everything looks the same way it did. And my UI is, of course, responsive. Now, this didn't take a great deal of time to draw, so you could probably get by with using a view like we did before. But if we're going to make it more complicated or update it frequently, a surface view is a better choice. So that should provide you a little bit more understanding about what surface views are underneath the wraps and how to use them.